All right, here we are, week 11. This is going to be kind of a different 2 weeks here because we're going to prepare you basically for your final, um, which is going to be a two-part summative. The first part is going to be the one assignment that's in here. And so you guys are going to get this on Monday. We'll talk about it. You'll have the opportunity to work on it through the rest of the week, which ends obviously early on Wednesday. And then you'll be able to use this in your final, which will be an in-class handwritten essay. And so basically, this is going to be something that's a little different. Normally, I would have done this in class, but I'm going to trust all of you to kind of have some integrity and show that you can actually do a timed writing, because a lot of this is about your ability to do it, and it's actually going to benefit you in the long run. So this is what we're going to do. This is basically something that we used to call as kind of a portfolio, but we're doing it in a little bit different way. And basically what you're going to do is you are going to create a visual organizer to include evidence and ideas that show you how you're thinking about analyzing a question. So you're going to pick one of these four questions, all right? It can be any of the questions you want. I don't care what it is. All of these questions basically fall into the idea of kind of the basic idea of okay, so this is week 11. This is basically going to be the first part of our last two major assignments for the trimester. So typically we would do 3 units in the first try. We would do India, Africa, and then Vietnam. We're going to get to Vietnam starting try 2, but it does allow us to go through basically this comparative idea of looking at independence, because we can look at an African country and we can look at India. And so the paper 2 questions will typically follow along something like these 4 questions, okay? And what you're going to basically be doing for more or less the first part of your last idea of a summative for the unit and for the trimester is create this one-pager. And so this is a little bit different than the way we used to do this, but basically a one-pager is going to be creating something to study and help you very quickly remember facts and details that will allow you to answer an effective written essay. So you have to remember that what we're going to be doing basically in this class is preparing ourselves for next spring to sit down and do a written exam. All right, so the 4 questions that we're going to all look at are these 4. And we'll actually on Monday go through these questions. So I'll present them to you and talk a little bit about what it's asking you to answer. But for this summative, you are going to be basically doing for one of those 4 questions, any one of those you want, you are going to do the following. So basically you are going to do a one-page filler. There should be no bare space. It can use images, it can use handwritten information, text, drawing, whatever you need. I suggest there's some elements on Google Slides that make this really easy to do. You can do it on Google Doc, whatever you want to do. But this is what you need to have included. You need a border or a frame that basically has the question in it. So however you choose to put that, if you put it along the side, use word text, whatever you want to do. You need to have a border frame that shows the question and the ideas that you're going to present about the question. You need any essential terms, topics, or evidence. So any materials that you have or notes, you should try to have at least 15 details that apply to the question. Images, so any drawings or connections, if you remember some of the vocabulary assignments we've done where you had to have pictures and images that apply to those things, great resource to go back to. You need a thesis statement and something clearly showing this is what my thesis statement is. And then a key question. So any key questions that you should have. If you remember back to when we did the little portfolio outlines, or we did the outlines and essay frames, this would be a great place where you can go back and look at these. And then lastly, any counter arguments. So you want to make sure to list any arguments and counter arguments that you can in some way. All right, the rubric that will be used is right here. You need to make sure you have all 6 elements included. The details of it are important. You know, how much evidence and how thorough you are in providing evidence and counter arguments. And then visibility, that you're using a mixture of things to kind of reference the ideas that you're trying to show. So this is the first part of your summative. So you get this in. I'm going to set the due date for Friday at midnight. And it then will be locked. So please make sure that you get it in by the end of the week. 5 days should be plenty of time for you to analyze a question. You'll have 2 days in class that you can go over it. And then to give you kind of a preview, this will then relate to something that you can use on your final summative next week. So please make sure that you get this in a timely manner so that I can review it and give you any pointers for next week so that we can kind of make sure that you have everything that you need. All right. If you have any questions, please message me throughout the week through Messenger. I will more than likely be around Thursday and Friday. So I can research or search or respond to you. Email is the best way to reach me over then if you have questions Thursday for Friday. All right.